So big spoiler alert here, you can probably hear it in my voice. I seem to be a little bit down with a sickness, although it's not quite a full-blown illness. So I'm going to cover this in a little bit more detail, but I wanted to share this. I've called it the Majorca cycling disaster as, let's be candid here, I've come on holiday, I've come to cycle, and it's not quite going to plan. So I've got some useful tips in here as well if you end up in the unfortunate situation as well. Admittedly, at the start of a week, you follow me on Instagram, you probably see that the weather was awful, and it's now lovely blue skies, which is fantastic. A little bit windy, so yeah, apologies if there's any noise in this. But I wanted to share some tips and advice for if you get sick, what to do, and how you can try and make the most of a bad situation. Because at the end of the day, you're here now. It is going to suck, but I've hopefully got some helpful tips in here for you. So number one is mask up when flying. They are like a ground for plague and pestilence. Sometimes feels like it's being coordinated with something, like one person will cough and the next and the next. And generally I've been doing that, especially from the COVID days as well. Always worn a mask when flying. And for me, it's really worked well and it's really helped. I suspect this may be from someone who has coughed without putting up their hand. There is a lot of it. I literally saw a chap last night who was just coughing everywhere, all over the food at the buffet. And this is one of the few times I think there might be some people who very quickly became plant-based, because it just all over the meat section, he was kind of having his coughing fit. So yeah, I think everyone went vegan that night. So watch out for that. Other things are vitamins as well, supplements you can take to really help. So you're going to hear everyone tell you this: hydrate, keep on top of electrolytes and things like that. So as soon as I started noticing something not being quite right, for me it was about literally the day before flying out, which is mega frustrating. But to keep on top of it, just generally for immunity as well. And I'm no doctor here, so please check in before you start taking random advice off the internet here. But zinc, really good supplement to be taking. Vitamin C as well, so orange juice, you can take it as a supplement as well. I take lots of B12 as well, that's good for the immune system. And this is one as well, if you're on a sort of like dieting phase as well, is just bump the calories up a little bit as well. So especially here, having an all-you-can-eat buffet has been fantastic, but just bring it up sort of maintenance, sometimes a little bit of a surplus as well. It's just going to help the body to recover. We want to help it reduce the amount of stress it's under. Probably coming into the next tip, and this is where it's going to get really quite interesting, and this has been helpful for me of why I'm still cycling on this holiday, despite what you can probably hear in my voice. So you're going to hear a lot of advice about where the symptoms are. And for me, they're sort of above my head, which is good. Now, occasionally I get this tickly cough starting from the back of my throat, but I'm not really calling that a full-blown cough because it's not constant. It's being triggered by something tickling in the back of my throat, so it's not like I'm constantly coughing. My voice feels really bad. I have no tiredness, I have no fatigue, no nasal congestion, believe it or not. I'm wearing this little strip up here as well, just to help me breathe during sort of zone 1, zone 2 efforts and stuff like that. But yeah, that is kind of the main thing, is where your symptoms are. If you're coughing your guts up constantly, stop. That's not good. But the secret sauce to all of this is your metrics, and that in particular is your resting heart rate. So if you're tracking, if you've got like a Garmin smartwatch, I believe most smartwatches can do this, just keep an eye on the average trend. So I'm not sure it's going to come across like a massive flex or something, but my resting heart rate is usually around sort of 36, 37 beats per minute. And with training, with fatigue, with heat, and digesting meals late at night, it's gone up a little bit. It's about 41 beats per minute. I think the highest yesterday got up to 43, and that's where I was sort of in that danger zone here of saying, do I either hold back tomorrow? Am I going to get worse, or is it going to get better? It's actually dropped just a little bit. And so for me, the immediate flag to stop everything I'm doing and just completely go off the bike would be if that resting heart rate jumped up and started, hitting like 50 and above. And this is actually really useful because when I caught COVID last year, it seems like a bit of a theme here when I've got something. I missed out on sort of once in a lifetime opportunity. Rafa were holding their 20th anniversary rendezvous in the Lake District. And I think on the Monday of a week before it started, I felt awful. Popped out to get lunch and I just came back and said, no, I'm not well, like something's not right. And I think by Tuesday I did a COVID test and it was already showing up as positive. So that was a real shame. I just spent 4 months like training for the amount of elevation it was going to be in there, and like just time, effort, money that went into it. Unfortunately, couldn't do it. But what was really interesting from that was learning how to use this resting heart rate metric. So like I say, my average was, let's just say 40, for example. When I got sick with COVID, it jumped really quite quickly. So like the next day it'd be 50, 60, and it sat at 80 while I was really sick. And I didn't start training again until it started dropping down. So it got to about 50, and I think I started again when it started hitting that sort of like 40-ish region again, sort of at 45. Obviously my symptoms had disappeared, but that was the main thing. That resting heart rate for me was sitting at like 80 plus BPM. So there's a huge increase there. So that's kind of the secret sauce, I would say, is for me, if I wake up tomorrow and my resting heart rate says 50, that's it, I'm done. But if it's staying sort of 41, my symptoms improve, I feel better. Might try and push it again tomorrow. My last day of riding tomorrow, so obviously I want to go out there. And I was meant to have an FTP test this week. And you might say, well, are you not pushing it? You're not chancing it a little bit? And I have to admit, I'm kind of in the grey area on this because I feel okay. That's the annoying part. There's no fatigue. I don't feel like I'm sick. I just sound awful and my throat's a bit scratchy. But if I have some water, I'm fine. It almost completely disappears. So I'm not quite sure what was going on, but I wanted to share this with you as some useful tips, because if you're in the same situation, you've come on a cycling trip, you're with your friends, and you just start noticing, hey, I'm not feeling so great. What can I do? Now you can look at that resting heart rate metric, like we said, assess your symptoms, see what they're sort of manifesting, keep on top of things, electrolytes, water, stay really hydrated, probably avoid alcohol as well, because that will dehydrate you. And yeah, if you can, supplements, vitamins, if you've got access to it, keep on top of that. I think the main thing as well is you can take it a little bit easier. Like today, I wanted to push hard. Like I said, I had an FTP test planned. And I feel like the universe kind of threw a ton of curveballs today. Just went out for a little recovery ride. It just literally went up to Formentor, just the first stop. Just went up there and sort of trying to keep zone 2 power. Had to stop start, the traffic was so bad. The descent was stuck behind a load of cars. But again, I can still go out. I've actually come back feeling a lot better, which is really good. So again, just taking that metric and working with it. Tomorrow, hopefully we can go a bit more full gas, because the weather's not been great either. That's really been a massive impact on the rides as well. So whilst I am feeling better, I just don't want to push it just yet. So using today as a bit of a recovery. And again, if you can, go for some nice flat zone 2 rides. There's going to be another video coming with this about, I'll probably seem a bit more happy on camera about this, but this has been really annoying for me. I'm going to reveal why, more so in the other video. I think the key message from this is, if you are sick, please wear a mask. If you're traveling, wear a mask. And if you cough out your hand up, start putting your hand up, please. And wash your hands, hand sanitizer. I just hope everyone stays happy and healthy. I hope no one has to go on a cycling trip feeling sick. Please. So I'm going to wrap it up there. And yeah, this is sort of raw thoughts. So catch you in the next one. Okay, this is a quick update to the last video. As I record this right now, I suddenly sound 10x better, but unfortunately that is not the way I'm feeling. I genuinely woke up this morning feeling the worst I had all week. The fatigue is through the roof, resting heart rate has now gone up, and so that is my sign now, gotta stop. So today was gonna be my last day of the trip, and it really sucks. I've come out here, you can see the weather is absolutely amazing behind me, and I've just had to spend it resting. Not even like I'll go out for a nice stroll, I'll go do some sightseeing, just full on. I've basically been sat on this balcony, I think pretty much all day right now. I've packed the bike up straight away and said, look, there is no more riding left in me right now. I'm done. It sucks. And I suppose on a positive note, I feel grateful that potentially here there's an opportunity that says I can come back and I can explore these again in the new year.